if you're not mentally prepared to take their rights away, they're gonna accuse you of that regardless, and then you're going to have to deal with that anyway. So you might as well mentally prepare yourself for it.
I hear you. I hear you.
We actually have a woman challenger.
Who thinks women are going to raise their own fertility rate without having their rights taken away?
It's an actual woman.
Okay. Should I be impressed?
Yo, you want a battle? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah,
that's what he's asking. Do you want a battle?
Sure.
Okay,
let's see if she actually what her alternative solution is.
All right, Ahtemma. Let's rock and roll.
Since when has taking people's rights away been a way that you're going to increase fertility, unless you're suggesting that women without voting rights are going to somehow want to fuck more?
Well, that's what every point of evidence.
How does that work? Explain to me how that works. I'm curious how that works.
All right, it's very simple. When women aren't going to college and they aren't having careers, they're making babies. You see this in the Amish community. Hello, hi, how are you? Do you hear me?
I can't hear.
Yeah, I hear you both.
I don't hear him.
You should.
All right, hold on. Sometimes this happens. Let me disconnect and reconnect.
Hi.
There we go.
Hello.
Do you hear me now?
Ah, there we are.
Yeah, okay. It's part of a new Discord update where they do this priority speaker shit. And you have to disconnect and reconnect when someone joins because sometimes not everything syncs up. Anyway, if you look, okay, so I've done several videos on this. I've done all the research. If you look at the Amish fertility rate, you look at the Muslim fertility rate, you look at the Orthodox Jew fertility rate, you look at Northern Indian fertility rate, pretty much everywhere where women don't have rights, where they're you have high fertility rates. When you go places where women have careers, go to school, even in Muslim countries like Iran, because Iran allows their women to go to school and have careers, their fertility rate is below replacement. That is the problem.
Okay, so all the places you listed, there are no laws against raping women. So what you're saying is increased fertility rates are good, or taking away women's rights is good because then they can be raped to make more babies.
Well, that was perfect use of female bullshit trying to redirect the conversation. I'm talking about fertility rate. Are you saying Orthodox Jews rape their wives? Are you going to make that anti-Semitic? Are you accusing Jews of raping women?
Okay, yes.
Of legalizing
I'll
rape?
accuse everybody that doesn't allow equal rights and equal say for everybody to be guilty of rape, not just Jews. How about that?
Okay. All right. Well, you're wrong.
You're fucking. You're talking about.
Wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
So the Amish rape women. The Jews rape women.
Actually, women aren't allowed to say no in a lot of Amish communities. Have you talked to any
so there you go. So your argument is, neener, you're a rapist, neener. So it doesn't matter if the fertility rate is shit. The West is dying. What is your alternative other than calling men rapists who are pointing out the problem?
Encouraging nuclear families and responsible sexual habits. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of traditionalism, but you don't need to step on people's rights to get there. You actually
do
without taking away. You don't have to. Okay, then take away men's rights too. Nobody gets a say in anything.
Feminism has already taken men's rights away. Why do you think the nuclear family is dog shit? Men have no authority over their families.
It's a combination of cultural Marxism and feminism. Feminism.
Cultural Marxism.
No.
Okay. No. Right. Feminism. Okay. So if we take away, let's just take away the feminist laws. Let's go all the way back to 1919, before women voted. So we'll just get rid of feminism. Problem solved.
Okay. Well, feminism was around before 1919, but okay, let's go.
Okay. So all right. So we agree. Let's take all the rights that women have gotten since first wave feminism.
I don't agree, but all the way. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, what do you not agree? So you just said the problem is feminism and cultural Marxism. So let's get rid of feminism.
Get rid of cultural Marxism first. It's actually more destructive because it takes away the power of the individual. Feminism falls out of favor when it's viewed through the individualist lens.
All right, hold on, real quick, before you guys talk, I just want to interject real quick.
Okay.
So, Ahtemma is not. I mean, she's not some lefty feminist or whatever.
I'm a fucking MRA.
Yeah. No.
That's
Well, no.
I'm not impressed if that's what you're
No. Hold up. I'm not trying to oppress you or impress you.
Okay.
No, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just saying that you and Ahtemma on a lot of issues would probably agree on a lot more than you disagree.
Well, no,
right.
Well, no. Here's the thing: being anti-third wave feminism is not going to raise the fertility rate. The West is dying, and it's going to be replaced by Islam.
No, it's not.
Hold on. I'll stop here. I completely understand that. I just wanted to let you know we didn't just bring in some left wing lunatics.
Okay, no, that's fine.
No. Yeah, like she's a smart chick. She is a smart chick. She legitimately is. You know what I mean? But
okay.
You know,
cool. All right. So let's promote what caused the breakdown of the nuclear family? Opulence. Okay, so how is now? Do you think Israel is a third world country?
No.
All right. How does Israel have a fertility rate over 3 if opulence is what destroyed the nuclear family and lowers fertility?
Because they have religious suppression that America doesn't experience.
They have religious suppression.
Yes,
so
suppression of rights. They have religious suppression of rights.
Right. So you're right. So now, So you're confirmed. So here's the truth. I've done the research. I'd love to see you present some actual counter argument based on facts and evidence. Because everywhere where the fertility rate is above replacement, women do not have these modern egalitarian equal rights. That's the problem. Even Muslim countries like Iran, which allow women to go to school and have careers, they have a fertility rate similar to Europe. Because that's the problem. When women go to school and have jobs, they don't have kids. You don't have kids, your fertility rate is below replacement, your society dies. So
if you force women to stay home and raise children against their will after they've experienced freedom, your fertility rates aren't going to be any better.
All the evidence says to the contrary.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't, because we don't have any countries that have enough data to show us what happens after it's been an egalitarian society and put back into the dark ages.
Oh, okay. Well, because we haven't had a collapse since we started collecting records.
But, a collapse of a nation is a hell of a lot different than wiping out rights for half.
Right. So look at French immigrants who come from Muslim countries, or Swedish immigrants who come from Muslim countries. They're the only ones having kids. Yet they have these feminist rights in Sweden, but they don't get to enjoy them because the men keep them in no-go zones where the police are afraid to enforce them, and their fertility rates are high. So
fertility rates have nothing to do with the survivability of a society if you're not looking at the society's maintaining its premise and principles and law. Okay.
Well, no, but the society has to be able to pay its debts long term, right? Which means you have to have more taxpayers. It means you have to have taxpayers.
Wait, hold on. How do you define a society?
There we go with that.
We need to define our terms.
In terms of a nation or in terms of economics?
A society. We live in a society. Well, what is the society?
Basically the culture of a nation with borders and laws.
All right, so the laws and the culture. So when you aren't reproducing and you have to import people from other cultures, that is the end of your society. Would you agree?
Only if your culture is usurped by the people coming in.
All right. No, so Japan is dying. Like, their population is dying. They're not having enough kids. Is the Japanese society going to survive if this trend continues? Now they're not
with the way they run their culture. Yes.
Okay. So now what happens when the population of Japan becomes so small that they're all congested in one city, and then they can't defend their borders because their population is dying?
Okay,
like the Japanese people are dying.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Japanese people aren't necessarily dying. There's been a decline in population, and it's a very small decline, and it ups and downs, and it's been about the same since we bombed them twice. It ups and downs, but overall it's pretty steady. What they don't have is a lot of economic expansion, so they don't have an encouragement to have more kids because it costs more to live there.
Yeah, see that I've looked into that. Like that's the first thing. Oh, rich countries have low fertility. It's all economics, but except that's not true. There are examples of subcultures within rich countries which have higher fertility rates because they have patriarchy, like the Amish. Like I was at the Dutch market today. Fucking look, you see kids running around working. You see the women working. They're not this. They're living in America, and yet they have, like, the Amish double in population every generation. They have so many kids, and it's because the men keep their pimp hands strong.
I doubled my generation too. I have 4 kids. It has more to do with the opulence and comfort and less urge to feel like you need kids because it's opulent. It has less to do with women's rights and more to do with easy living. Look at those subcultures. They also live very harsh compared to the rest of the society they live within. Comparably.
Well, okay, but again, they don't. Like immigrants in Sweden and France live in the same cities.
Sure, the Amish don't have any. They have no electricity. They aren't living a harder lifestyle. What?
The Amish aren't as like. Yeah, they have the horse and buggies, but
they ride horses and buggies and shit. Okay, yeah, no, their lives aren't harder and more harsh than the average American.
All right, so the immigrants in Western European countries who live in the city and get the welfare and everything, who are having all the kids, their life is just so bad. So, like, look, I
was going off of your Amish example. That's Jew example. I wasn't going off of...
the Orthodox Jews live pretty well in Israel.
They do. Well, that's the thing. Like, there's too many counterexamples.
They live a life that has more strife in it. That's what I'm saying. They have more drive. They kick in the biological markers that encourage procreation. It isn't necessarily that women do or do not have rights.
Hold on.
There are other parts of biology involved in that.
All right, so I have.
There's also cultural differences as well. We have a society that isn't just feminism saying, "Oh, you need to be 30 before you start having kids."
Right? No, the cultural difference is male authority and patriarchy. That's the cultural difference. The cultures that believe in male authority and patriarchy have a shit ton of kids. The cultures that believe men and women are equal, they don't. Now, I'm going to look up a video I did because I actually have my sources in the description. So, like I said, this isn't my first rodeo. I've done the research. I know I'm right.
Well, you're right in saying that half of the world shouldn't have rights so they can make more babies because they'll be bored and they'll fuck more often.
No, we're saying they shouldn't.
Right. But no, okay, hold on. Well, let's. So, all right. So, I'll get into the moral argument. I actually have several videos on this. Anyway, so let's talk about rights and responsibilities. Are men responsible for women? Take all the time you need.
Say that again. It cut out.
Are men in society, are men responsible for women?
No. Everybody's responsible for themselves.
All right. So who pays the net taxes and who fights all the wars?
Women pay taxes just as much as men do. Look at...
No, they don't.
Standard rates. They just don't go to war as much.
No, they don't. They don't pay taxes.
80% of purchasing power. Sure, women don't pay taxes.
No, right? Okay. Okay. All that purchasing power means. Oh my God. See, this is why we can't have nice things. All right. The purchasing power thing is basically the man makes the money. The woman spends the money. She decides what brand they buy, what car they drive. She makes the purchasing decision with the man's money. Men pay all the taxes. Women are not net taxpayers. Whatever money they pay in taxes either gets returned to them every year in the form of a tax refund, or at the very least gets returned to them in the form of benefits. Women are not net taxpayers. They contribute nothing to society financially.
What benefits are women gathering?
There's 20 departments of the government exclusively for women. Would you like me to send you a list of the departments of the government that benefit women?
Okay, but you're acting like because those departments exist, every woman is collecting something.
Oh, right. So you see, like, again, this is the thing. Even MRA women. So first you started off calling me like, oh, I was advocating rape, and now you're doing like the.
No,
not all women are like that. Yes, there are
equivalent of what you're saying. Take
there
away
are
women's rights so
exceptions.
they can just be birth factories, and that's totally fine.
Right,
They don't get to have any agency or anything.
Are men responsible for women? The answer is yes. Men out
Only
as a society.
if they have kids with them and they're married,
or if they work.
Decision.
No, women are not responsible for themselves. They demand men pay for. Men are the law enforcement. Men are the military. Men are the taxpayers. There's so many examples of this. Women would die on their own. They need men to take care of them. Women are not responsible for themselves in any society. Even in matriarchal societies, they rely on the men to keep them alive. This is a fact of biology.
Okay, yes, that part is true, but it's not that women can't take care of themselves. It's that we've set up society so they don't have to, and you can't just blame women.
Right.
For
so men uphold, maintain. Men uphold this society that women benefit from, and it creates the illusion that women can pretend to be independent as long as men continue to uphold and maintain the society for them. That is called men being responsible for women.
No, it's not.
What do you call that?
Women are still actionable or accountable for their actions.
Are they? Have you seen the sentencing disparity, the family courts, all the laws that benefit women at men's expense?
I'm talking about pragmatically. I'm talking about realistically. I walk up to you and I punch you. I expect to be punched back. My husband is not fucking responsible for me punching you in the fucking face. I would never allow that. That's wrong.
Okay. Yeah, and if you punch me in the face and I knock you the fuck out, 20 white knights are going to swarm me, and I'm going to make the news.
Well, it's because I'm very small. That has nothing to do with it, and I have big boobies, so men are naturally wanting to.
No, just in general.
Right. This is a general. So no, like in a hypothetical scenario, is it theoretically possible for women to be contributing members of society, be independent, and not be reliant on men as a group? It is theoretically possible. Has it ever happened? No. It's just theoretically possible. Now. No, the West is dying. That's what's happening now. The closer feminism comes to victory, the closer we come to collapse.
Okay, feminism was never about. Even original feminism was never about men and women being equal. It was about women being more special. Never ever was it. No, seriously. Seriously, if you look at the philosophies and you read about it, that's what I'm saying. So feminism is not women.
Right, I'm not saying feminism is women.
Women. There's a lot of conflation being done here.
All right, so would you be in favor, since you're clearly not in favor of feminism, getting rid of all diversity quotas for women, all grants for women to go to college, so women have to compete against men on a fair and equal playing field.
Yes. That is the bigotry of low expectations. It is bullshit, and I find it insulting.
Right. So you probably, and I've seen this a lot with I'm going to say you're on the extreme end of the bell curve, because generally about 4% of women can compete against men who are at the very high end of the bell curve. So that's fine for you and the other, women at the 4%. You're the elite women who can't compete against men. Like there were women who won Nobel Peace Prizes before any diversity quotas went into effect, because they were in that elite minority. But as a group, despite this 4% minority that can compete against men on a fair and equal playing field, feminism has proven that in the 60s with second wave feminism, they made it illegal for women to be paid less than men, and yet the wage gap persisted because women make different choices. They don't work as hard. They come in late. They leave early, so on and so forth. Women as a group, despite the 4% minority, cannot be independent. They are dependent on men. So let me ask. I'll make a compromise with you. What if we take women's rights away, but we allow special women in that elite 4% who can compete against men to prove their worth, and then they get an exemption if they can actually show that they're worth a shit? No. So,
let people as they are stand and fall on their own merits. You don't need to take people's rights away to do that.
Okay, so I've
Cam got the best idea in the chat. He's saying if you take away the welfare state, women are going to stop voting for free shit. And he's right. He's absolutely
Wait.
How are you going to take the welfare state away?
Yes, read the rest of it. The problem is, can you kill the welfare state when more women vote than men?
You can't. You have to take women's voting rights away to reform the welfare state.
Or you could just start changing the way society views things. Oh.
Hang on, wait. No, wait. Listen.
People start teaching them.
Tamma, listen real quick, Tamma. All right. The problem is, can you kill the welfare state when women vote more than men?
Yes, you have to start teaching women it's okay to fail.
No, you can't.
Yes.
What?
You can't.
The problem is with female MRAs is, again, you're in the 4%. Do you have Asperger's, by the way? I just want to.
No.
I need. Okay. So I've noticed.
No, I'm completely neurotypical.
Okay. Generally, I have a lot of extra masculine traits, which is fine. But
that's
women,
adorable. Are you trying to attack my appearance while we're discussing
No,
I don't even know what you look like. I'm staring at a Discord screen right now. I don't even know what you look like. But a lot of female MRAs, they think in a more masculine way, which is why they value equality. Generally, though, like,
remember the whole I called you a half a broad? Remember that? I called you a half a broad? Because a lot of times you think like a dude.
Right, and that's fine. But the thing is, I did a video about female MRAs, and I'm like, there just aren't enough autistic lesbians to go around. We can't base a society just on, like, we can't just count on women being like you, thinking like you, and valuing equality, because that's not the general trend for women. Not just really for people, but especially for women. You are atypical. You are in that 4%, which is great. If we could clone you and we could base a society off you, that would be fantastic. But we unfortunately, we're left with what we have, and we don't have that. We can't just clone you like in Attack of the Clones and have a bunch of long-necked aliens.
No, that's why I had 3 daughters.
Well, that's okay. That's wonderful. But
but that's how you make the change. You start being the person and showing people what you want to be different. That's how you create social change.
Right. So this is
you don't do it through legislation, because you can't legislate morality.
Okay. Well, I do. There is legislation that can be enacted, and I think should be enacted. Like, it's a tyranny of the majority thing at the moment is the fucking problem, right? That's the actual fucking issue. It's the fact that 55 or 60% of the fucking population is fucking over the rest of the goddamn population because they can give themselves anything anytime they fucking want it because they outvote everybody the fuck else.
Well,
hold up. That's absolutely true. And if I could, I would also revoke the voting privileges of soy boys.
Well, what I would like to do is if you're not a net taxpayer, you don't vote, man or woman. Now, women aren't net taxpayers, so pretty much like there'd be like 12 women in the country that would vote.
No.
They'd be like.
I can raise the kids.
I am completely with you. I said
that is correct.
You have to contribute
fucking serious? So I get to put my literal blood on the line for your freedom and your comfort, but I get nothing for it in return.
Having babies,
no right.
Having babies does not demonstrate jack fucking shit in terms of responsibility to your country. You are being rewarded within the context of your family. Your husband takes care of you. That is your reward. Society doesn't owe you shit. Society owes you nothing for having a baby. A woman, a brain dead woman in a coma can get pregnant and give birth. You are doing nothing. You are taking a shit. You do not deserve any recognition for shitting out a couple kids throughout your life. That is not demonstrating anything to society.
Yo, wait. Ahtemma, do I deserve extracurricular shit for making a bunch of kids? Or do I get chastised for it?
I don't chastise you for having a bunch of kids. I chastise you for not being in a stable relationship with your kids. There's a difference. Again. And it's biological. It's basic biological shit. All right. It's a simple thing. Okay. Look, you're doing biologically what you're supposed to do. I'm doing biologically what I'm supposed to do. You're not serving your country by doing so. Yeah, there is within the context of the family, there is already a reward within that family unit. You're not benefiting society. Okay, you don't have kids. You don't understand how hard it is to raise them and what kind of physical sacrifice.
It's so hard. It's so hard that 13-year-old children can babysit babies. It's so hard that we let illegal alien nannies who don't even speak English raise people's kids. It's so hard.
I don't.
It's not hard. Look,
it actually is very hard to raise good adults.
Bullshit.
It takes a lot of work.
Right, and now then this is look. And you're an MRA. You're all about the equality, but you immediately started calling me a rape apologist, and then you turned into not all women are like that, and now you're lauding stay-at-home moms.
Okay, no, now you're putting words in my mouth, Mr.
That's what you did to me.
No,
that's what you were doing to me.
I pointed out the irrationality of the argument in the societies you were talking about.
And I
was not calling you a rape apologist.
Okay. Stenographer, play back the tape.
I never said anything about you being a rape apologist. I said if we have societies where women don't have rights, and the majority of those, it's fine to rape a woman, and that increases their fertility rate. That's what we should do in America.
No, but wait, let me ask you a question though. Okay, let's have a thought experiment. All right, so women primarily.
Let me know when you start thinking.
Oh, you're not even on my level.
That's right, I'm not on your level, honey.
I know this. I know. Well, she's a woman. What do you expect?
Woman.
It's fine. I don't care. I'm not interested in her pussy. So anyway, all right. So I know it's your loss. Anyway, so a woman marries a man primarily for his money and for financial security. A man who denies his wife financial provision, like withholds money from her, is charged with domestic violence. Do you agree with that? That a man should be charged with domestic violence for withholding money from his wife?
No.
So a man should be allowed to tell his wife, "I'm not taking care of you. Go fuck off," and forever. Like I'm not taking care of you at all. You can go get a job and earn your own money.
No, not if he marries her because they've agreed to take on a life together.
All right. So they're married. So he's vowed to financially support her, but he's decided he's not going to. He wants to keep his money for himself. He is a shitty husband. Should he be charged with domestic violence or a form of domestic violence or abuse or anything?
No, he should just be called an asshole and shown how wrong it is to make a promise to somebody and then fucking break it.
All right, but you don't support any sort of... he should be charged with anything, even if he denies his wife financial provision.
I'm saying that you can't create legislation or create morality through legislation. What makes you think I would agree to that?
Oh, I was just testing, because I'm big on consistency. So I was seeing how consistent you were. So you passed that test. Because where I was going with that was, a woman marries a man for financial stability. The man cannot deny her financial stability, or he's charged with domestic violence. A man marries a woman for her vagina, and yet a woman can turn off the sex spigot whenever he wants, and he can't do anything about it because there's plenty of marriages where they haven't had sex in years because the wife just isn't into it anymore, and he's SOL. And he can't go to the judge and be like, she won't fuck me, because he doesn't have a right to sex, even though she vowed to when they got married to have and to hold. So I was testing your consistency.
You know anyone who...
No, I disagree with child support and alimony laws. I think they're bullshit.
Oh, I agree. I think if you can't afford to take care of the kid and the man can afford to take care of the kid, give the kids to the man. You don't get to live the lifestyle you're accustomed to because
I think we should make marriage something that's sacred and important and special, and we should make relationships something that are sacred, important, and special, just like sex.
No,
wait.
Here's the problem. Wait.
Oh,
can I rock in real quick?
Sorry.
Just real quick. All right. Here's the thing, right? So we all want kind of to get to the same fucking place, right? It's just a matter of how the fuck do we get there at the moment, right? My baby girl's whining. Get your leg out of there. All right, there we go. Anyway, so the problem is that as long as you have 60% of the fucking population voting for their own fucking the shit that's good for them, you cannot change the system. Is the issue.
Okay, you can't do it immediately. You got to start teaching that 60% to think differently.
No, you can't override their biological imperative.
The problem is, and the thing is you're projecting. you're able to value equality because you're on that extreme end of the bell curve. But you can't. I mean, look, how long you been in MRA? Like how many years? 5 to 10 years, 15 years, 20 years?
I have been against child support and alimony laws since over 20 years.
All right. So for 20 years, you've been in MRA. I assume you've gone to rallies, you've gone to conferences, you've petitioned, you've marched, you've done all kinds of stuff. Are you aware that the laws are only getting worse?
Yes.
That the MRAs have accomplished nothing. And the MRA movement is as old as feminism. There were people speaking out about this since first wave feminism. The MRAs have accomplished nothing. Now, why? Why haven't they accomplished anything in their entire history?
Oh, you mean other than growing in size and popularity steadily instead of peaks and valleys? Sure, they've accomplished nothing. There's now a larger portion of society that's unwilling to get married because they dislike those matrimony laws. So no, you're right. MRAs haven't really done anything to change things at the social and fundamental level.
All right. So no. Okay. So first of all, you're taking credit for MGTOW, which I found very interesering.
No. That is not.
That's what you said. The stenographer, read back the tape.
MGTOW has been around far less time than MRAs have, and the MGTOW movement didn't start gaining any steam till recently, very, very recently.
Right.
Like the past 3-4 years.
But all right. So
before that. People were refusing to get married because they didn't like the matrimony laws as they stand. That has been something that has been increasing over the last 30 years, where there have been long-term monogamous relationships and no marriage license. That has nothing to do with MGTOW. That is absolutely egalitarianism and MRAs.
Okay, so you think palimony and cohabitation and common law marriage, those... I don't know. This is very interesting. So you're taking credit for people walking away from marriage, and you're saying that this is now. How do you get? Okay, so people are rejecting marriage, and then there's like a step. There's like I'm gonna paint your underpants gnome logic here. So men walk away from marriage? ? The society reforms itself. So fill in that question mark. What is your phase 2?
Men didn't walk away from marriage. It wasn't just men. Men and women have decided they don't want to get married because they don't like the laws.
It's not because they can't find a good man. So women are rejecting marriage because they're protesting the gynocentric marriage and divorce laws because they care about men so much?
No, they're protesting getting involved with the courts at all.
It
has more to do with less trust in the government than anything else.
That has
more to do with egalitarianism and things like libertarianism, and less to do with. I'd love to see your source that women are rejecting marriage because they think the marriage laws are dog shit. I would love to see a source for that.
Yo, women have the best case scenario in fucking marriage.
Women are desperate to find a husband. They're not like, I'm going to protest.
To find a mate.
No. They're desperate to find a husband.
Right. If they just wanted to reproduce their sperm banks, they want to get pregnant, so they have that.
Thank you for telling me what I want, guys. This is really.
It isn't about you.
Stop.
But you're talking to a woman and telling a woman what she wants when she knows it's not what she wants. So it's very confusing.
No. We're talking about society.
We're talking about women in general.
Has less marriage overall, and it has been declining for 20 years. That is far long before there was any kind of MGTOW movement. So you tell me, what started that decline? MGTOW?
It's not women. It's not women being like, I'm protesting the laws. It's men. Men are walking away from marriage. Women are marrying themselves. They're marrying ghost pirates. They're having ceremonies. Men would rather fuck an anime.
Too.
No, they're not. They're marrying body pillows. They're marrying body pillows and sex robots.
And how is that any different?
Well, because men are
any different. It's both. Both are doing the same fucking thing and being retarded at the same level. Same as there's the same amount of people going, no, fuck this. I don't want to be involved with the government.
No.
Look at all that fucking drama. I don't want to put my name down on a piece of paper because that piece of paper don't mean shit. What matters is my fucking promise.
Right.
And
so I've seen.
It has shit to do with feminism and MGTOW. It has to do with people not trusting the government to be involved in their fucking lives.
Right.
Since 1993, the government has determined that they can take and do whatever they want. When they started confiscating guns in California after they mandated a registry, that's when people started having way less confidence in the government.
All right. Look here. We have a hard 11 o'clock out because we're a lead-in program for another fucking show, and I mean, hey, I want to thank everybody for coming the fuck out tonight. I want to thank Ahtemma for coming on Turd Flinging Monkey. It's always appreciated. I think I'm going to be on DDJ's Roundtable this weekend. I'm pretty sure y'all can check that out. Head over to Gulf City Theater. They're doing the fucking Man from Manos this week. Make sure fucking get your goddamn ticket to $2 a goddamn pop. It's pretty cheap to get into a fucking theater, you ask me. And I mean, it's appreciated for everybody coming the fuck out here, man. You know what I mean? Much love. Dude, Excel.
Yeah, man, I'm going to hit the in-stream button.